Okay, so check out what just came in the mail. Now, this company reached out to me and they said that they had a robot lawnmower. Now, this is really interesting to me because I know they've been out on the market for a while. To be honest with you, I've never actually felt the need to get one, mainly because I have big zero-turn mowers, I have a remote control mower, and I have a push mower. And between the four of those, I can do anything I need to do. But it's always kind of been curious to me how well these robotic mowers actually work. And when I say a robotic mower, I'm talking about something that's very similar to like a robot vacuum cleaner in your home. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are probably on the fence about something like this. So it was really perfect timing because my curiosity was piqued at that moment. I'm like, you know what? We got a lot of lawn out here. It would be really cool to see if this thing is actually effective. And yeah, I just want to see what this thing was all about. So I agreed to review this. There was absolutely no strings or requirements attached at all. They basically sent me an email, sent me the specs of their mower, and I said, sure, I'd love to review it. They said, what's your shipping address? And I gave them a shipping address, and about a week later, this shows up at my mailbox. So we've got it unloaded. To be honest with you, it is lighter weight than I expected. So the box says that it weighs over 25 kilograms, which is roughly 55 pounds. And I'd have to say that probably feels in line with how much it actually weighs. But what's really interesting about it is it's not that heavy overall, and it's going to be kind of a curiosity of mine to see how this tackles taller grass. That said, let's get this unboxed and put together. Okay, so we have the power adapter. Thing's kind of heavy. Accessory kit and the user manual. A lot of thick foam in here covering different areas. And then this part comes off the top. It's packaged incredibly well. Again, you gotta kind of mentally envision super large robot vacuum cleaner. Okay, so we have it completely unboxed now, and I set it on top of the box. Let's go over a couple of the specs that they have on the box. So this uses 3D LiDAR, SLAM, S-L-A-M, and vision navigation, up to 1.5 acres of mowing area, precise dynamic obstacle avoidance, anti-clog cutting, multi-zone, no-go zone management, and 1.2 to 3.3 inch cutting height. So you can't raise this thing super high off the ground, which actually makes sense just because of the design here. It's kind of cool because it actually looks a lot like a robot vacuum cleaner, to be honest. Specifically ones that like go in the pool. Look at it. So you got your charging contacts right there, and then you have this really large docking station for it with charging contacts right there as well. And then, of course, the quick start guide. But this is the whole setup, and it's not very large. It's probably about 2 feet wide and maybe 2.5 feet long. It's got a nice bumper up here as well. It looks like it does move a little bit, which means it's going to bump into stuff and it's going to know when to stop and turn. But this is pretty cool. I'm guessing this is going to be your LiDAR up top. Here's your controls as well. You got a big giant stop button right here also. Don't know if there's any pouch to access the battery or not. See if we can flip this up so you can see the bottom side of it. Looking underneath, it's kind of interesting. So your blades kind of spin out as this goes. It's a relatively small cutting area though, so you only have maybe about, let's say, a little over a foot worth of cutting area. But again, if this thing does an effective job of going around and kind of making sure it doesn't miss a spot, that really shouldn't matter too much. Got your information up here as well. Orca Innovation Technology. Then your giant, very, very off-road wheels that are on here, and your casters on this side. So this thing should be able to zero turn pretty dang easily. And those blades look super, super sharp. And it looks like they're held in place by Phillips head screws. So you can probably replace the blades relatively easily. But this is what it looks like. All right, let's read the instructions on this thing and see if we can get this thing going to work for us. Okay, so we have it kind of set up in place, and I think the key behind anything like this is it needs to be simple to use. It can't be overly complex, or that's going to turn people away from it. So hopefully this whole process of getting this going is going to be relatively simple. I have the power supply hooked up. Looking at the power supply itself, it looks like it meets ETL and FCC compliance, IP67 rated, and it is 21 volts, 8 amp output. Nice long cord, so this is going to be really helpful. It looks as if this is outdoor rated, so you should be able to keep this outside. I just don't know to what degree before you risk damaging it from torrential downpour or whatnot. But I'll definitely try to look in the instructions. This right here is some foam with double-sided tape. I'm sure that's to put underneath this right here. You have a little scraper right here, and this is all inside of that parts bin. Plus you have these. I'm guessing these are bumpers. Like you're going to put this around areas that you don't want this to go, so whenever it comes up to it, it bumps that and it turns the mower away. And that could come in really handy, especially if you have something on the ground that could get caught in it that the LiDAR is not going to see. Perhaps, like in my case, I might have a piece of damaged ranch fence or something that could protrude out and possibly in the path of the mower. You have a cool little area here, and I believe that along with the double-sided tape are to hang the nifty little cleaning brush. You have an Allen key right here, as well as, check this out, extra blades. This is what the blades look like. They look like they're double-sided, and they look to be nearly razor sharp. So yeah, this thing should cut pretty dang well until these go dull, but they give you quite a few extra blades in here. It looks like they probably give you about 10 of them. But yeah, they give you a good number of extra blades, which is really nice. So I think the first step we need to do, which is one that a lot of people are probably not going to want to do, is to open up the instruction manual and read it. Okay, so I downloaded the Neomow app, and before I can add it, I need to turn on the mower so I can find it, which is the power button right here. I don't know how much of a charge is on here. I have not had a chance to charge it up yet. And once that happens, I should be able to add a device. Okay, so we have to put it on the charging station. There we go. We're going to go next. Power button is on. Next, before add ensure Bluetooth is on, which it is. Okay, now I'm actually updating the firmware. Before you can actually go further, it's going to see if it has the most current firmware on it. This is definitely something you want to do if you're going to get anything like this, because you want to be sure that it has the newest software in the event that there is a fix to a problem, and you don't want something that has the potential of cutting you to not have all the updates on it. So going through this upgrade is definitely something you need to be sure to be patient and let it do. Okay, so now that we have all the software updates and all of that stuff completed, we are going to go to map management in the application, and I am going to drive the mower to where I want it to go using the controls on the screen. Okay, I've put my little chest harness on. It's kind of a remote control mower at this point. Can I go down that bump? Okay. Now I'm going to go to Add Map Element. All right, so I'm just going to do this area right here for now. Okay, want to confirm to keep that. Let's just say shop side. Okay, so I need to take the mower into the mowing area before I can set the recharge path. Okay. Need to see if it'll actually climb the little bump up right here. All right, so now we are ready to go. And it's going to try to spin itself around so it can go back to the charging point. That's pretty cool. All right, that's cool. So now we can start a task. So it's recharging at the moment, and it takes you through this really good tutorial that gives you all sorts of great features. So if I want to start mowing now, I set the schedule, set the calendar. The thing is if this is inside, the base is inside, then you're going to need to be sure that you have access to the base, or the mower does at any given time on a schedule. So it starts from the base and then, you know, goes back to the base. All right, let's hit play, see what happens. Go, we're going to select the area. Okay, I'm not doing anything now except following it. I assume I can put my phone in my pocket and just watch the mower do its thing. Okay, here we go. I hear it beeping, so I'm guessing the blades are probably about to turn on. Here we are. That thing is quiet. Okay, so initially when I started, I had it set at the highest setting and it was just kind of going over everything. But now it's actually cutting it. It is really, really quiet, even with the blade spinning. You can hear it though. Remember, the cutting area is actually relatively small. It's maybe a little over a foot. So it's going to take a lot of passes. Just like a robot vacuum cleaner, you can actually see the progress on the screen of your smartphone. Then you can also put it in a manual mode. But yeah, I had to adjust the height right here to bring the blades down lower so it would actually start cutting because they were a little too high. They started off at like 85 millimeters, so I brought it down to 50 millimeters. I'm going to see if I can change that to inches. But you can see the line it's making. It has to overlap itself a little bit again just because it's a very, very small cutting area. Okay, so I gotta tell you, this thing is pretty cool. It's gonna be out here for a while cutting. You can definitely see that it is cutting the grass. Again, it has to kind of overlap itself a bit because it has a very small cutting area to it, which means if you're going to mow an 1.5 acres, which this is rated to be able to mow, it's going to take you quite a while to do it. But the cool thing about it is you don't have to be out here while it's doing it. It's basically just going to go over the programmed route, and then it's going to go back to the charging station and do its thing, and then you can set a schedule so it automatically starts mowing. Just keep in mind you want to keep the mowing or the charging base station inside of a covered indoor area just so it doesn't get damaged. Pretty cool, but we're going to keep checking this thing out. I can't give you a definitive answer on if I recommend or love it yet, but I can tell you it's pretty cool. I wish the cutting area was larger, and I wish it would tackle some of the taller stuff like the grass over here that it doesn't appear to try to cut very well. But when it goes over these areas, you can see that it is cutting, and you can hear the blades shut off occasionally when it has to go over a little bit of rougher terrain. Maybe that's to pump more power to the wheels themselves. But right here you can see it's pretty tall. Sorry for the very, very not green grass. Haven't had rain in a while, or any sizable amount of it at least. But it's cutting and doing its thing. But this real tall stuff right here definitely seems like it's tripping up the LiDAR a little bit. Anyways, we're going to keep this for a while. I'll definitely make some more content on it. We'll have it programmed to do a much larger kind of area with more uniform grass, and we'll see how it performs. I think right now the biggest challenge it has is with its obstacle avoidance. It's seeing taller grass as an obstacle versus something it should go over. So if you have a lot of this kind of ranch grass out here that typically, you know, grows up a couple feet high, it might trip it up a little bit, might make it not really understand what's going on, and it might back off of it. But if your grass is more uniform and you're just looking for a way to maintain it, this may be the perfect thing for you. Anyways, I'll throw a link in the description of this video to this product. We'll definitely be doing more testing and evaluation with it, but hopefully you enjoyed the video. I mean, because I've never used one of these before, and this has been a learning curve for me. And maybe if you've been on the fence about one, this video has helped you make an informed decision. Anyways, guys, sure hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll be back with more content with this really cool robotic lawnmower.